Also, and again, I've been having some series of stress because of the fact that I'm busy and I'm having running nose. Uh, I'm having catarrh, so I needed to. I went out today, but the sun was too much, so I came home and I'll be going out very soon again. So, but there is something I want to communicate. I want to speak on. There is something I want to speak on. Part of what I've been speaking on before, but it's quite different from what people may think I want to talk about because I know what today is to some people. Yeah. Um, I would, for the nan now, Ebuchi, I greet you one. So I greet each and every one of you who are present to listen to what I have to say. And what I have to say this afternoon borders on religion and who we are as a people. It borders on who we are, borders on religion and who we are as a people. You know, I've been thinking, which just the same way I've always been thinking. Sometimes I just let be, sometimes I continue to think. And one of the things I was thinking lately was does that mean that do you really believe that we had no indigenous ways of understanding life and nature around us other than the ways of other foreign people? Do you really believe that we had no indigenous ways of understanding life and nature around us other than the ways of other people? Because sometimes we tend to want to leave these things, but it keeps coming on because when you look around, everything we do are things that we borrowed from either from the west or from the east or from the south, left, right, and center. We borrow things and we ask ourselves, why is it that people are not doing anything they borrowed from us? But the answer is still yes, there are things that other people are doing which they borrowed actually, which they actually borrowed from us. There are a lot of knowledge and discoveries and so many things which people are doing today, which actually they borrowed from us. But the narrative has become such that so many people don't know that so many of those things were learned from us, but they learned those things from us. So back to religion. Um, the other day, I deleted everything apart from the hard copy Bible that I still have because I look at them. Because like I was coming from a religious Christian religion background, and I was so deep in that. I will make good to say that I've been able to read the Bible cover to cover, not just once, like 2 times or 3 times. So at some point, I deleted all the Bible apps on my phone, but something happened the other day that I needed to have the app to so that it will be handy for me to make some references and look at some certain things. So I downloaded it. So while I was going through some research, it dawned on me that if you come to the New Testament, most especially the epistles or the books that Paul wrote, you would see a lot of countries, people that are named. But before I go there, then I, again, like I had done before, I began to research about religion, which I had done before. I just like trying to to refresh my mind. Then I saw that every religion, starting from Christianity, but it's not that Christianity is the oldest. In fact, Christianity is one of the youngest. But let me start from Christianity because that's where I'm coming from. That every of these religion has a person representing that religion. And in Christianity is Jesus Christ. In Islam is Muhammad. In sorry, I'm having Qatar. Yeah. In Islam is Muhammad. You know, in Hindu you have Lord Shiva. In Buddhism you have Buddha. And then Judaism, you have somebody like Abraham and Moses. In Christianity, by the way, it's Jesus Christ and Paul, you know. So I took this research further, and then so when I came to Christianity, the research I made was that Christianity was, of course, we know some of these things, you know, how the conspiracy began, but for the purpose of record, that Christianity was the people who are like image of Christianity is Jesus Christ and Paul. And if you come to Christianity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. If you come to Christianity, you see about, based on the research that I have here, yeah, you see about 20 denominations. I hope you're seeing it. You see about 20 denominations. Catholic is one of them. Saddleback Church is one of them. Calvary Chapel is one of them. Harvest Christian is one of them. Foursquare is one of them. Christian Science is one of them. Jehovah's Witness is one of them. Salvation Army is one of them. Mormon is one of them. Disciples of Christ is one of them. United Brethren is one of them. Methodist Episcopal is one of them. Baptist is one of them. Episcopalians is one of them. Congregationalist is one of them. Presbyterian is one of them. Calvinist is one of them. Anglican is one of them. Lutheran is one of them. And they will always write the people who, they will always write the people who started them. Like the Lutheran started in Germany by Martin Luther in 1517. Anglican by Henry VIII. Calvinist is John Calvin. Presbyterian is John Knox. The Congregationalist is Robert Brown. Robert Brown. Episcopalians is Samuel Sebring. Baptist is John Smith. Methodist Episcopal is John and Charles Wesley. And then all these 20 denominations of Christianity are all Europeans. The Pentecostals are not mentioned. Some Pentecostals are not mentioned here. Like a lot of Pentecostals in like the church of T.D. Jakes and all of those other Pentecostal churches in America are not mentioned. The Pentecostals in Nigeria are not mentioned. The Pentecostals in Ghana, in South Africa, everywhere are not mentioned here. Now, the question now, I was going through all these things, and then I was doing a lot of research. So back to what I was saying before, then going back to Paul and all the books he supposedly wrote in the Bible, I discovered that he wrote an epistle to Philippians, to Ephesus, to Thessalonians or Thessalonica, to Romans, to Colossians, to Galatians, to Corinthians, to Hebrews. Okay? Then I discovered that Philippians is in Greece. And Greece is the country that invaded Kemet. One of the countries that invaded Kemet before the Roman Empire invaded Kemet, which is Egypt. I also discovered that Philippians is in Greece. I discovered that Ephesians or Ephesus is in Turkey. And Turkey and Greece is just next door country. They have border. See Greece, see Turkey. They have common border. So Ephesus is in Turkey. Thessalonica is in North Greece, in Greece again. Then Romans, we know, is in Italy, in Europe. Then Colossians or Colossae is in Greece again. Galatians is in Greece again. Corinthians or Corinth, the Igbo Bible will say in the Corinth, in the Colossae, in the Romans, in the Ephesus, in the Philippi, in the Thessalonica, you know. So Corinthians also in Greece. Then there's another book called Hebrews. And where is Hebrew? Israel. Jewish people, the Israel. Where is the state of Israel? Also around that side. Around that side. Then I also looked at some names like Tarsus. You know, where I also, I wanted to know where Paul came from, the supposedly Paul. I discovered that he came from Tarsus. And where is Tarsus? Tarsus is in Turkey. Paul of Tarsus. And then I checked out and I asked, where is Tarsus today? I discovered that the city or the place or the people or the native or the people called the Tarsus are in Turkey. So which means many of these things are from Turkey. Ephesus, Turkey. Tarsus, where Paul came from, Turkey. Which one again? About 3 of them. Okay. So other ones are Greece, Corinth, Galatians, and Colossians, and Philippians. Okay. Thessalonians in Turkey. Sorry, in Greece. So now, which means that in the olden days, in the ancient days, Turkey is majorly Christians, or who followed that type of religion before they were taken over by the Mohammedans, the uh, Ottomans, the Ottoman Empire took over, which are the Muslims, the Muslim jihadists. So they conquered everyone, maybe killed a lot of people, and a lot of people were forced to follow that faith. Okay, so now, but where the main problem or the main question that I'm still asking is, when all these things were happening, when you see the character called Paul writing letters to the Romans, to the Philippians, to the Ephesus, to the Thessalonians, to the Romans, to the Colossians, Galatians, Corinthians, and the Hebrews and all those other places, all of them around one place, then the question is, where have we been? Where were we? Where have we been? Does it mean we do not exist in this planet, in this earth, in this world? But the answer is no. We have been around. Okay? But these things are things happening around that side, which it doesn't concern us. These things were things that were happening around that side. Okay? It has nothing to do with us. We were fine. We were comfortable in our place. We had our moments, we had things that we were doing, goods and bads, just like every other people, because there are always good people, there are always bad people. So we had things we were doing. We were trying to overcome our challenges, try to improve our lives, try to do things right, or things that are not good for us. We were always trying to improve and come out a better people for ourselves and our future generations, which is what we are today. I mean, our ancestors were doing all those things. I mean, I'm not saying that they haven't made a mistake. I mean, there are mistakes people had made everywhere, even in Europe. Even in Europe, their ancestors made a lot of mistakes that nobody is talking about today. They know that those things that their ancestors did, but you will never, the last thing you would hear a German or a British talk about is the evil of their ancestors. They do not talk about it. They know it, but in fact, they do not talk about it. They are better in talking about other people, because it's like survival of the fittest. They needed to go and conquer other people. There are things they never had, and they needed to go and conquer other people and take what they have for themselves. So the question is, does it mean we do not have our own indigenous ways that we view life, that we view nature, that we understood nature and life around us? The answer is yes, we have. Yes, we have. But most of those things were destroyed by these people, these colonial marauders who came to kill, to steal, and to destroy. They came to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And that is the truth. And that is exactly what happened. Whether you like it or not, they came to kill, to steal, and to destroy. And this is exactly what they did. This is exactly what they did. And to enforce. And then they now began to enforce their ways of life, the way they view life and nature. They began to enforce it. They began to enforce the way they worship the God they created in Europe. They began to force it. They began to strip us of the way we understood nature around us. They began to do all these things. And it was by force. The other day, somebody was commenting on my post and say, I have to let other people be. That people have got right to believe in whatever they want to believe, or their religion. And I'm like, okay, who should be telling who? If that is what that person thinks, what about when we were there for ourselves and by ourselves, doing what we were doing? We should have been left alone. We should honestly have been left alone to do our things the way we understood nature around us, the way we understand, the way we are going about life, facing our challenges and improving upon our challenges, upon our ways of life. Like I said before, there are things we were not getting right, but you make mistake and improve upon your mistakes, which also the Europeans had a lot of things which they never did well, which they improved upon. So, if anybody should leave anybody alone, I think we would have been left alone to be. But like I said before, no, these people needed to go out there to conquer, to destroy, to kill, to steal, and to destroy, to conquer, to enforce their ways of life, to enforce the way they see life, the way they see nature, the way they worship the God they created, the way they worship the God or the religion they borrowed from so many traditions, cultures, and people. They borrowed all these things. The one they borrowed from Egypt, and the one the Greek stole from Egypt, and the Romans stole from Egypt, and the one they saw from all the places they went to. They used it to create a religion. And when they came, they began to force people, forcefully, for that matter. They began to force people to believe in those religions. And they began to train some of our people who understood their language, English language, and began to use that language, that English language, to now indoctrinate their brothers and their sisters, and became their catchers, so to say, and became their enforcers, and became their wadisis and the court marks, and begin to work for them. It happens also in slavery, and also began to enslave us, and began to use our own people against us who go to catch slaves for them, and stripped us off of all our ways of life, and the way we view life, the way we understood nature. It doesn't mean that we were all dons and idiots and bunch of uncivilized human beings living in the bush. That was not what we were at that time. We were intelligent people. We were doing a lot of things and building civilization. That is why they told you that civilization began in Africa. And they became afraid. They were very much afraid of what would become of them had they left us alone. And that was why they gathered, because I feel it's time we begin to repeat these teachings and these reminders again to our people. That was why they told you in the Bible that God looked down from heaven to the earth and saw that the people were with one voice, in one accord, and building towers, wanting to build a tower that will extend up to heaven. That is not true the way it was written, because people wouldn't have built anything that will get to wherever you think, or to wherever the so-called Western God is. But the thing is, they were looking at Africans, the black people, the black Africans. building civilization and towers and pyramids and a lot of things which they never understood. And they became afraid. And they said, come now, let us go down and confuse their language so that they would no longer understand each other. There was a time we were all speaking the same language. Our problem started long ago, and we are still in that problem. Before even the partitioning of Africa, before the creation of countries and separation of people, and mixing of people, and before they even came and begin to mix our races, if you go to Egypt now, you think that all of them are mixed races. You see mixed races everywhere. You see some signs of blackness. If you see an Egyptian, looking at an Egyptian, you see that it's mixed. You go to Libya, you see some Libyans, you see that they are mixed. Some of those North Africa, so these people are coming. The Westerners are coming, and then the Arabs are coming, mixing with the black people, trying to destroy everything that is darkness, everything that is blackness, trying to destroy it, trying to mix it, trying to dilute it, trying to introduce a lot of things, ways of life, ways of new beliefs, new ways of seeing life, new civilization, destroying and distorting our civilization, which they knew started in Africa, in black Africa. Because I had argued that if we had been left alone, if the white man hadn't come to Africa, the type of civilization that we would have is not what we are seeing now. The type of things, the type of how we would have metamorphosed is not what we know now. Like if you look at Lagos, if you look at Lagos, if you look at Abuja, if you look at Port Harcourt, if you look at Enugu, capitals Enugu City, what you see is not what we would have been had they left us alone. But the thing is that we also have to be blamed somehow. How come we let these things happen? But when two people are fighting, one is bound to lose. When two people are fighting, one is bound to lose. So I think we lost. And we are still under that grip today. The fact that we are living in a country called Nigeria boils down to the same fact. Because the same people created a country called Nigeria, a country called Cameroon, Gambia, Ghana, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Niger. The same people created all these things and destroyed a lot of things, destroyed the unity in black people, destroy our languages, and then force their language into our tongues by all means. That is where our problem started. That is where our problem started. It is a battle of race, the black race and the white race. What I'm telling you honestly is not easy. I even hope that this program will go far. Yeah. And created a lot of division among black people and created a lot of hate among black people. You can never see hate in the midst of white people. You can never see hate between a German and a Swiss and a Flemish and a Dutch. It is difficult. It is very difficult. But there is a lot of hate amongst black people. And if anybody is preaching hate, if anybody is telling you that your problem is your fellow black man, tell that person that it's not true. We have one common enemy. We have one common problem. The people who brought religion, different religion, from foreign land, for goodness sake, from different places, from Arab, from Europe, from Western world and from Arab world. Do you know the population of black people? The population of black people is so much. So much. But we are the most divided and sectionalized. We are the most divided. We are the most divided. Sometimes you cannot find the difference between an Igbo man and sometimes you cannot find the difference between an Igbo man and an Ashanti in Ghana, or between an Igbo man and a Southern Cameroonian. The same features. Sometimes you cannot find the difference between an Igbo man and someone from Congo or Zaire. Apart from language, the only thing that differentiates us is language. Sometimes you will see me, you will see somebody exactly the same way I am in Congo, in Zaire, or in Ghana, somewhere in Ghana. People who occupy that equatorial belt region. So you see, our problem sometimes is not the place they are pointing to you at. Our problem is far-fetched. Our problem is far-fetched. Even when you think our problem is far-fetched, our problem is outside us. Because we've all been indoctrinated, brainwashed, and we are all doing things that are not our traditional and original, things that are not original and traditional to us. That's one would begin to ask, who are we? What is really our ways? Why do we follow Jesus Christ, who is not Igbo? Why do we follow Jesus Christ, who is not Igbo? Why do we follow Muhammad, who is not Arewa, who is not what are the tribes in the north? I honestly don't know the tribe. There are tribes in the northern part of Nigeria. The black people in the northern part of Nigeria, they have their tribes. Why do we follow Muhammad, who is not from those tribes, those indigenous tribes in the north? Why do we follow Jesus Christ or Paul, who is not Igbo, who is not from Imo, from Abia, from Anambra, from Enugu, from Ebonyi? Why do the Hindus, who is Indians, follow Lord Shiva, who is Indian? Why do Arabs follow Muhammad, who is Arab? Why do Europeans follow Jesus Christ? As at when they were following him, because they are no longer following him, it's a character. Why do they follow Jesus Christ, who is European? Why do the Sikh religion, who are mainly part of Indians and some part of that region follow Guru Navak, who is also from his people. His people, it must come from your people. Does that mean that there is no single Igbo man who is an icon, who is so powerful that he knows how to navigate through nature and command the wind, the fire, that is so powerful that he created a religion that people began to follow him? Why? Who are we? Why do we follow Yahushua, who is from Israel? Why do we follow Elohim, who is not Igbo? Why do we talk about Judaism, Islam, Muslim, who is not us? All these people are foreign to us. They are foreign to us. Why do we keep doing things that are foreign to us instead of things that are indigenous to us? There lies our problem. Why must we follow the precepts of foreigners? Why? Even the people who claim to be Muslims, Islam is not original to you. You are a tribe in the north, in Sokoto, in Kaduna, in Jos, in Adamawa, in Maiduguri. These are tribes. These are tribes of black people, different tribes, like the way we have the Igbos, the Shekiris, the Ijos, the Ibibios, the Efiks, and all those things. The same way you find those things in the north. So Muhammad is not from any of these places in the north, and Jesus is not from any of these places in the south. So what are we doing? Why are we fighting amongst ourselves? Why are we hating ourselves? Somebody will come and begin to, instead of telling us something within us, something maybe he discovered from us, about our past that we've forgotten, he's telling us something that is foreign from somewhere else. And then we kill defending foreign ideologies. We kill wanting to establish foreign ideologies. You kill your brother because you want to establish something that is not indigenous to you. So you find a bunch of Christians reading epistles and letters which Paul wrote to the people of Philippians in Greece, Ephesians in Turkey, Thessalonians in North Greece, Romans in Italy, Colossians or Colossae in Greece, Galatians in Greece. You find people reading a letter which Paul wrote to these people. Which one did Paul wrote to you as an Igbo man? Which one did Paul wrote to you as an Hausa man? Which one did Paul wrote to you as a Shekiri, as a Ijo man? Or does it mean we were not existing in those days? You are reading a letter written to the Corinthians, which is in Greece, Galatians in Greece, Colossae in Greece, Romans in Italy, Thessalonians in Greece, Ephesus in Turkey, Philippians in Turkey. And Paul himself is Paul of Tarsus. He came from city of Tarsus in Turkey. He's not even from Israel. Paul is from Turkey, from Tarsus. So, which one, where is the book that he wrote to the Igbos? And if you want to read some of those books, will start by saying, Paul, the disciple of Jesus Christ, the letter written to the, well, let me even see if I will, he would expressly describe the people he is writing to. That you would understand this letter is not written to me. It's not applicable to me. It wasn't written to you. It was not meant for you to be reading. You are reading the letter of another people, the Romans, the Greeks, the Turkish. Hold on. Let me even go to one of them. Hey, man. Paul, a servant of Jesus Christ, called to be an apostle, separated unto the gospel of God. Blah, 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 blah. And then you go to verse 7. To all that be in Rome. He is writing to the people of Romans in Italy. To all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. He was addressing the people of Rome. To all, to unu niile ndị bụ ndị Rome. Ị bụ onye Rome. Mana ị na-agụ the book of Romans. To all that be in Rome, beloved of God. He was praising them. He was telling them good words, greeting them. Greetings to all of you that be in Rome. A letter he wrote to the Romans. And you are Igbo, Ishekiris, Ijos, Ibibios. Are you from Romans? But your pastor will be quoting for you, open to the book of Romans. And you'll be reading something, and you will never see a place that anything about you was mentioned. And I'm saying this thing, if you think I should let be, if you think something, this is my belief, you should stop talking about my belief. No, it was never our belief. Then you should have gone back and say, what you should have been saying is, wow, these people should have left us alone. So you don't even have the right to say, no, stop talking about my belief. Because that wasn't our belief before. We were forced into it. Okay? None of our ancestors, even down to my grandfather, wasn't a Christian. And you can now come and tell me, no, you better leave us with our belief. Which your belief? When did you become a Christian? When did we become Christians? Because some people will feel that you are attacking their faith. Which faith? What is faith? What is your belief? What is belief? When did you become a Christian? That is my question. Is your grandfather a Christian? And if your great-grandfather and your grandfather, maybe your grandfather is young and he died the other day, and he was a Christian. No, then take it a bit backward. If your great-grandfather or your great-great-grandfather are not Christians, then you are not a Christian. Then you picked it up somewhere, sometime, maybe through your mother or your father, and then you come to tell me, no, don't talk about our faith, let it be. Why did they not let us be? Were we the worst people as at that time? So you are there reading the book which Paul from Turkey wrote to the Romans. Wrote to the Romans. Again, let me go to another book. Okay. Let me look at Galatia now. Galatia is in Greece. Paul, he's introducing himself. Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Jesus Christ, the God, the Father, who raised him from dead. And all the brethren which are with me unto the churches of Galatia. He was writing to the churches in Galatia. Grace be to you and peace from God the Father and from our Lord Jesus Christ. He was writing to the Galatian, which is in Greece, to the church, not to you. Where was the church? Where was the church in Igbo land as at the time Paul? Or does it mean that we were just, that we were never in existence at that time? He was fucking writing to the church, to what he called the church in Galatia. You know, let me go to Ephesians, because he will always mention it. Hold on. Okay, listen. Ephesians or Ephesus is in Turkey. Turkey that is all 100%. Turkey that is 100% Muslim now. So Paul, the book of Ephesians, chapter 1, verse 1. Paul, he's writing, an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God, to the saints. To which people is he writing now? Was he writing to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Christ Jesus? In Ephesus, he will never fail to mention the people he was writing to. Paul, an apostle of Paul, a character, by the way, this thing is deep. Paul is a character, by the way. Jesus also is a character. Yeah? Okay. But he will always mention in this writing or write-ups, they will always mention the people they are addressing. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God, is writing to the saints which are at Ephesus. And my question is, which one did he wrote to the saints at Igbo land, at Oke-Chukwu, to the saints at Eziago? Were they saints in Eziago at that time? No, because there was no church. There was no church that there were no people that are faithful in Christ Jesus. He said to the saints which are at Ephesus, and to the faithful in Christ Jesus also in Ephesus. In that time, at this time, there were nothing like Christ Jesus in Igbo land. Christ Jesus just started like 140 years ago. Sorry, guys, for the noise. It's coming from the generator of my neighbor. They just took light, you know. So, the character named Paul will always mention the people he was writing to. Well, I know to some people, I know it's not a popular topic. It's not a topic everybody wants to listen to. Most especially people that are so deeply in religion, Christianity, or even Islam. Ask yourself a question. Do you know that the people of North Africans were not originally Muslims? No, they were traditional people. They had their names, like the people in Morocco have their tribe. They were living in tribes, the Berbers. You know, the Berbers, some are called the Berbers, some are called other names. They were forced to become Muslim. People were killed. Jihad was carried out. But today, you will see a lot of black people defending Islam. Well, that is their own. The same way a lot of people are defending Christianity. The same way a lot of people are defending Christianity. Even when they know, or maybe they don't know, that these things are not indigenous to us. They are not original to us. They came from a foreign people, foreign land, and it was by force. It was forced down to our throat. It was forced down to our throat. It was forced down to our throat. So share this video. Share this video. And then you see people, they will travel from Nigeria, from Enugu, from Anambra, from Lagos, from Abuja, to go to pilgrimage in the so-called Holy Land called Israel. What made Israel holy? What made Israel holy? And why is my land not holy? The only holy place I know is Igbo land. Why would Israel be holy and my land is not holy? Or what is the name of the other one in Islam? Saudi Arabia. What is the name? What is the name of this place in Saudi Arabia? Someone should remind me. What is the name of this place in Saudi Arabia that people go for pilgrimage? So what made that place holy and Igbo land is not holy? What made Jerusalem holy and Igbo land is not holy? Who tells you that? Who taught you that? Who made you believe that your land is not holy, but another person's land is holy? Why I keep forgetting this the name of this place in Saudi Arabia. Someone don't want to remind me. This place that people go. Mecca. What makes Mecca holy and Sokoto is not holy? Is that what you're telling me? Mecca is holy, but Sokoto is not holy. Mecca is holy, but Kaduna is not holy. Mecca is holy, but Kano is not holy. Mecca is holy, but Adamawa Plateau is not holy. Is that what you're saying? Israel, Jerusalem is holy, but Enugu is not holy. Israel, Jerusalem is holy, but Ezago is not holy. Israel is holy, Jerusalem is holy, but Nnewi, Anambra is not holy. And we believe this. And we are spending our money to go to those places, and we even fetch water. Zamzam water. Some will fetch Zamzam water. Some will fetch water from Galilee. The place John the Baptist was baptized, or the place John the Baptist baptized the so-called Jesus Christ. Fetch water, you come here. What? No. You see, don't catch feelings unnecessarily when I'm saying these things. You know that it is the truth. But because you've been so deep into this thing, this is something you've known since you were born, you don't even want to think that my grandfather or my great-grandfather didn't know about these things. And you want to tell me that you are now wiser than your great-grandfather, because your grandfather or your great-grandfather never heard anything about Jesus Christ. So who should be educating who? Oh my goodness. Are you the one who should be, if you have opportunity to see your great-grandfather, are you telling me that you are the one who should be educating your great-grandfather, or your great-grandfather should be educating you about this world? That if you have opportunity to see your great-grandfather today, you say, Papa, you have to believe in Jesus Christ. He came from Jerusalem, from Bethlehem of Judea, or from Nazareth. And he will tell you, what he will tell you, he will drop whatever he has. He said, who is that? Where did he come from? He said he come from Bethlehem of Judea, but from Nazareth. You say, my son, where is that place? I have never heard of that place. Is that place in Igbo land? That is what your great-grandfather will ask you. Is that place in Igbo land? Which town is that place in Igbo land? Did you guys manufacture a new name, a new country, a new tribes in Igbo land? No, you say, Papa, no. Papa Nupu, no. It is in, you will not understand. He will tell you, what will I not understand? The place I have lived before you, it is you who will not understand. There is no place called Nazareth in Igbo land. That is what your great-grandfather will tell you. He will begin to name all the places in Igbo land for you. He will tell you there is a place named Ezavi Ibudu. He will tell you of Abaja. He will tell you of Nnewi Oke-Chukwu. He will tell you of all these names. He will begin to tell you all the ancient names, even up to the time he passed on. He will ask you again, where did you people get this name? Does not exist in our land. No, you will insist. He will tell you, no, you are crazy in your head. You see, so you and your great-grandfather, who should educate each other? He should educate you. He should tell you what you don't know, what you have never experienced. Not you telling him, well. So don't catch feelings unnecessarily, or don't feel that your religion is being attacked, or your belief is being attacked. If for anything, our belief or our ways of life was attacked by the Christianity, by Christians, or by the people who brought Christianity, that is the truth. If you like truth, if you like to hear the truth, the truth is that Christianity and the people that brought it attacked our ways of life and our belief. It is not the other way around. It is not me who is attacking Christianity. It is Christianity who attacked our belief and the way we view life, the way we see nature, the way we understood nature, the way we saw and viewed civilization. So don't tell me that I should not speak. And even some of you who are still saying, no, don't attack my belief. You still do your evangelism and go about and preaching against even the traditional ways. I mean, our ways of life and traditional. You still go about, you carry megaphone, you go everywhere, you say this one, you go and begin to cut every trees. You cut every trees, every ecosystem, big trees, you go and cut them, and all the ancient landmarks, you go and you begin to destroy them. You are the terrorists here who are going about condemning people's belief and threatening people, telling people you will go to hellfire if you did not leave that your ways and come to Jesus. You are the ones who are doing it. But when somebody like me make a post or come and say something, you feel threatened. You quickly want to become defensive. You forget that is exactly what you people are doing. That's exactly what you people are doing. And I did it also. I personally did it also. You will keep on frightening people, threatening them with hellfire, threatening them with your rapture, threatening them with the coming of Jesus, threatening them, telling them all kinds of fearful things. And then you will say you're being attacked. Somebody is attacking your belief. No. And I'm sorry, sorry, at this point, I'm not referring to anybody. I'm not referring to anybody in particular. I'm speaking generally. So if you're my person, if you're my friend, my brother, my sister, I'm not addressing you. I'm talking in general terms. Do you know, I know when my grandmother, when she was being forced to begin to go to church. Very nice woman. I swear, I have never seen a nice woman as nice as my grandmother. Very nice woman, very strong woman, who never believes, who never condones evil. I have never seen a nice woman as Wamba Howezu Obana. Thank you, my brother. Yes, I think I need to open a page. Thank you for that advice. I have never seen a woman, and I let me not go personal because it might offend some people, but I have never seen a woman as nice as my grandmother, who was not a Christian. And I knew at the point when she was being forced to become a Christian. No Christian, none of all the people who were forcing her to become a Christian were as nice as her. She's called Wamba Howezu Obana. Her name is Wambaho. You know, in those days, when you want to refer to somebody, when you call his name, you call his parents. Just like in the Bible, they will tell you Joseph, the son of David, and Jesus, the son of Joseph, the son of this, you know. So that was something they learned from us. When you want to call my grandmother, you will call Wambaho Wezu Obana. Eziwu Obana. See, Wambaho Wezu, Ezi is Obana. Wambaho is my grandmother. Ezi is her father. Obana is the father of her father. So Wambaho Wezi Obana. Do you see how it goes? You have mentioned three people at the same time. In one name, you have mentioned three people. I have never seen a woman who is as good and nice as this woman. Very nice. Very beautiful. And she was never a Christian. It was in her last days a na-afọsị ya, nna ị ga-esokwa n'anyị na-eje ụka, nna ị ga-esokwa n'anyị na-eje ụka, na-etretinye ya, na-afọsị ya, nke a sịkwa nke a sị gị. Meanwhile, she is better than you in behavior, in characters, in manners, in everything. Na-asọ nsọ niile ọ na-asọ, you are not, ị naghị asọ ya. You know? I think I have to block somebody. So, our problem is far-fetched. What you are seeing as your problem is not even your problem. No black man is your problem. No black man is your problem. We should begin to rightly identify our problem. We should start identifying our problems rightly. And nature is giving us a second chance. We are in the age, we are in the time, we are at the time that nature is offering us a second chance. That is the time we are now. That is the period we are now. They neither sleep nor slumber. These people neither sleep nor slumber. Right now, nature is offering us a second chance to be who we are meant to be. What you are seeing as your problem is not your problem. Your problem is far-fetched. Anyway, I think I've exhausted what I wanted to say today. So if you think it's okay for you, you can share this video, and I think I'll be drawing the curtain here. Yes, I think